What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, David Hatfield. Joining me this week, Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Sam Claiborne.
Hey, everybody.
Making his first appearance on Game Scoop, Marty Sleva.
Thanks for having me.
That's an inside joke because he's been on Game Scoop a lot.
many times.
But Sam claims he's never been on Game Scoop with you. Is that true?
Well,
that could be true.
I find that hard to believe.
This is going to be weird.
Watchers.
Hopefully you guys get along. Play nice.
Well, in real life we don't. So.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
We got a great show for this week. We're going to be talking about everyone's favorite video game analyst. We're going to be talking about Hitman. But first, PlayStation VR. That's the name. PlayStation, it's short for PlayStation Virtual Reality.
Jinx,
Well,
you can't talk till I say your name.
No! This is going to be an awkward episode.
Damon.
Thank you. Okay. Recently codenamed Morpheus.
Yeah.
Now the official name is PlayStation VR. Sony says it's going to be priced the same as a console.
Yeah.
A new game platform.
How do you interpret that?
$600.
Knowing that, what would you guess it's gonna
hundreds of
cost?
dollars.
Hundreds of
$400.
$400.
300 to
What was
$300
the
to 400.
PlayStation 3 release date that or price that?
$599 US dollars.
$599.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's the high end.
that's the high end of.
Yeah, I mean, the
The
terrifying,
Sony console.
the terrifying thing about that, though, is that it's one of those, it's going to cost that much, and you also need a PS4,
Yeah.
which is going
Right.
to cost that much, and you're also probably going to need Move, which costs a lot, and maybe a PlayStation
Yeah,
Eye.
they keep showing it with the Move controllers.
Yeah.
Well, but I assume that cost will include a Move controller.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
That'd
if
be like
a lot of the
console.
demos have that.
Yeah.
You know.
It have
Because otherwise you'd literally, like, I don't
You need
envision
to,
them.
though, right?
I mean, who the heck knows? But I don't know if you need to.
A lot of the games I've played have that, too.
I don't envision them selling
Rock style.
the VR without the Move, because otherwise you literally can't use it.
Yeah. It's,
or they will have games that that work with a regular controller, but they're not showing them very much right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's also a strong possibility.
So does that mean it needs a PlayStation Eye as well? How many things are going to be hanging from my television?
Is this thing dead in the water? Is this thing going to be a big hit?
The
PS4 is a big hit.
I tie VR to PC probably I don't know why I do that right now, but I think the fact that Facebook bought Oculus means that I think VR is going to have a lot more uses beyond video games, and I wonder if people will buy one that just does the video game side of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Let's say the Morpheus, everything's equal. They're the same price, roughly the same console. The Morpheus or the PlayStation VR and the Oculus Rift, they're both several $100s. But there are hundreds of millions of PCs out there. But there's only, however many million PS4s out there.
34 million.
Yeah, so in that sense, that doesn't bode well for PlayStation VR, just because PC is such a wide, ubiquitous,
phones,
wide
right?
open platform.
A cheap VR phone solution has already exists. You can do a nice you can fold your own cardboard VR headset. It's not too bad.
I consider that
take that 10
kind of
years from
baloney.
now in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of baloney, but so is VR.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, I think that there's some inherent problems in being in a living room with your family and wearing
Removing
a giant
yourself
device
from
in
it.
your
Yeah,
head.
totally.
So that's an inherent problem with VR.
Is it? I think people that were hoping that this was going to be. I mean, I don't know what people were hoping.
That's what I was going to ask. Are you surprised to learn that it'll cost this much?
That's what I think it was. I think it was always kind of a pipe dream. Someone could probably rewind the tape and find me saying, "Oh yeah, it'll be cheap." But in hindsight, there's so much technology packed in this device, and it is a new gaming platform. And I think it was
Basically
always
a Tony Hawk ride board.
it was.
Good comparison.
It was always kind of a pipe dream for that thing to ever clock in at less than many hundreds of dollars,
Yeah,
given the technology that's in.
Yeah, but this isn't confirmation of anything. That is what they said. They said it's going to be, priced as a console would be, but we don't know what that means. Maybe it's 200, maybe it's 300.
Maybe it's PSP pricing.
Maybe it's PSP pricing. I mean, the big thing now is, from what I've seen so far, to me, it's not worth $400, but they haven't really shown us what the actual games are. We've seen a lot of cool demos, but I don't know what are all these first-party studios actually working on?
The future of VR, though, is that VR will cost us money now, but then it will be free when they jack us into the Matrix.
That's true.
That's good.
You have the option.
Not
You can
charging
pay for freedom and use VR occasionally, or you will be permanently stuck in VR and feed the system of energy.
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Actually, we should host the first VR Game Scoop soon, where we all wear VR headsets and we all sit in this room. People can join us.
What if we've already been
Why do
doing
we have
VR
to wear the
games?
headsets?
Because that's just what everybody's going to look like.
Oh, okay.
The closest.
I like the idea. I like the idea that we all have VR headsets on, but then what we're looking at is just a recreation of this studio.
Yeah, but with lots of people in it. It's augmented reality.
With the live
point of it?
audience.
Yeah, it's the stadium.
Oh, I get it. We're playing. We're
That'd
playing
be
in front
awesome.
of a stadium.
Playing
All right, we'll work on that.
The closest related big hardware accessory launch I can think of is Kinect.
Yeah.
Is that right? And that was what, $200?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that-
And it changed the world.
And that was a big failure.
yeah. Seriously.
They even tried to sell every Xbox with it. Like, there's a lot of Kinects floating around, and it
Yeah.
still didn't
Yeah.
make a difference.
I have two.
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
detached.
I can't, like, has there ever been an expensive hardware add-on that was successful?
The Zapper, Damon.
That was, I got that in the box. Just came with my
The
console.
N64 expansion pack.
I would say less that than more like the Rumble Pack.
I don't know why you're all laughing. Those are totally
No, you already
expensive.
said the one earlier.
Yeah, that wasn't that expensive. That came with
The
Star Fox.
DualShock
The DualShock controller, you
But that's
had to
completely
have it to play
replaced
everything.
the-
Or the first analog stick PlayStation controller. It didn't
Yeah,
ship.
but also not expensive, that was like a controller.
$50.
It was expensive.
Was it? I mean,
Yeah.
at the
Well,
time.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
not, it wasn't hundreds of
Yeah.
dollars.
I mean, I'm curious to see if it's sort of funny because it seems like
Sega
Sony could be repeating the mistakes of Microsoft. Like, is this going to be a thing whenever PS5 comes out? If there is a PS5, we're going to
More
get
on
to
that. Coming
Like,
up.
would that come? Is it going to be like, no, this is integrated with Morpheus, so Morpheus is going to come with it. It's going to be $1,000, and Justin's not going to be able to feed his child.
Sega CD is a
Cheap
good
meat
example
every
of a
other
peripheral
day.
that was successful. They cost $100.
I don't
Not
think
successful at
it
all.
was successful.
But that's the thing. Like,
It
success
was. Sega
is.
CD was. 32X wasn't, but Sega CD did okay.
See, I don't know if I would. Like, I liked my Sega CD, and they sold many millions of Sega CDs, but it's still kind of.
They did? Are
I think I think this is revisionist history,
Many
guys.
millions of Sega
We both had a Sega CD. That's 2 out of 4 Americans. 50% of Americans Sega CDs.
There were like 4 people owned a Sega CD.
The greatest selling console of all time.
We
at
did it,
200
Justin.
million.
If you just extrapolate that,
And that is how analysts work.
I don't think the PlayStation VR is dead in the water. The flip side is the big thing about Morpheus or these other VR platforms is that the big secret, maybe it's not a secret, but just like the thing to keep in mind is that you need to have a very powerful PC to utilize them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's really impressed people with Morpheus or the PlayStation VR is that it was all running on this, relatively compared to high-powered PCs, relatively low-powered PS4, and still is this incredible, you can get a PS4 on the cheap and have this incredible VR experience, and you don't need to have a $1,000 computer. So
That's amazing.
I don't know how much that works in Sony's favor, but that's why I'm still sort of, willing to give them. I think it's going to be all right.
You think
Yeah.
PlayStation VR is going to be okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to find out next year. No release date.
It's first half of the year, they said.
First half of the year.
And I cut you off when you're
January
talking about
15th.
games, but they did announce like 11 games for PlayStation VR only so far, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and then they said, like, at TGS, I think Shuhei Yoshida said that all the first-party Japanese studios are working on things, and
Yeah.
there was this cool Final Fantasy 14 demo that may not be a real thing. So, yeah, I mean, the big thing is going to see, like, what is Naughty Dog doing something, or like Team Ico or Japan Studio.
So it's the same as always. Software sells hardware, and if there is a big lineup of 12 games that everybody wants to play, the system will sell. And if there's not, it won't.
Yeah, and then the big worry is if entertainment is more important for VR than games. Not entertainment, I guess I should say. If TV or interactive experiences, or honestly, face-to-face communication,
Pornography
becomes super popular for the VR, it's not going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. All right, moving on. Michael Pachter is a businessman.
He's a real good man of business.
And a businessman who is known, his name is known by every gamer, because he is an analyst who makes predictions about the video game industry.
Controversial ones almost exclusively.
Yeah, sometimes they sound wild, and gamers can be defensive about their hobby. Sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes. So, his latest prediction is that this console generation, the console market has peaked. It's not getting any bigger than it is today, September 23rd.
Doesn't mean it's going away tomorrow, which he's
2015.
predicted before.
Yeah.
But it means that there can be a long run of consoles, but we already saw the most sell per console generation with the last generation.
Yeah. Let me read some of these quotes here. And I know that, like, he has a spotty track record at best, but I'm more interested in hearing what you guys think about his theories.
Did you make this
whether or not
image?
they're I requested this of Eric Sapp. See, they've peaked. They've peaked.
Did you see we published a story this week that Mount Everest is actually pronounced Everest?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I saw that.
No, I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna say that either.
No.
Also, it's GIF.
I'm not going to say that either.
It's an animated GIF, everybody. All right, Michael Pachter's quotes this
Is
week.
it analyst or analyst?
I think it's got to have an anal plan.
Did you go to the zoo and see some giraffes?
How are the graphics on that new Metal Gear game?
Don't get into it.
Why did you like that a lot more than giraffes?
I don't know. Graphics was funny.
All right.
Space Giraffe had some good graphics.
This is my first episode. I want to impress the host.
All right, Michael Patrick says, this generation is not going to be bigger than the last generation. We're going to be about the same. The Wii U is going to sell 20 million units compared to 100 million for the Wii.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
PlayStation 4 is going to sell 120 to 130 million. That's great. Xbox One will sell 100 to 110 million. That's great. Add it all together, that's 260 million units, maybe, and the last generation was 270.
I probably agree with that.
He says this is the last real console cycle. I don't mean that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo will go bankrupt and shut down. They will not. Each of them will make another console. Some people will buy them. And the next console cycle will be to this console cycle what the 3DS is to the DS. Meaning the 3DS is selling about 15 million units a year, while the DS had 5 consecutive years where it sold more than 26 million units a year. So about half as big. So he's basically saying it's as big as it's going to get. It's going to shrink down. Your video game market, people buying consoles is going to be like your hardcore gamer market. While everyone else spreads out into the casual mobile PC gaming set-top and VR porn. Yeah,
VR porn.
He has more quotes, but
It's my second
first of all,
favorite kind of porn.
let's take a breather.
Yeah, that was a lot of information.
Yeah. What do you guys think about it?
So, aside from the anomaly that was the Wii, like the Wii, there probably will never be something like the Wii again in terms of something that like is that huge and mainstream in terms of gaming.
I mean, how can you say that though? It's like we didn't predict the Wii. It's so hard to say.
I mean, it's hard to say, yeah, but I think the reason those numbers, like the Xbox One and the PS4, are far outpacing the 360 and the PS3. So I think it's sort of weird for him to say, I don't think those will surpass the sales of the previous ones. I think the PS4 will absolutely sell more than the PS3.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But even so, the Wii U, collapsing to the degree that it has compared to the Wii, still, and when you add them all together, it'll mean fewer consoles sold.
Sure.
Like the PS4 can outsell the PS3, and the Xbox One can outsell the 360 to a relatively large degree, by 10, 20, 30 million units, and we'll still have less consoles sold than the previous generation, strictly on the weakness of Nintendo's console business.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a sign of a shift in the tide. I think that's more of the Wii is an outlier.
Yeah, in terms of the first half of Pactor's analysis of how many total consoles are going to be sold this generation, I think that's
agree with that.
That's probably correct. But I don't.
Like, what does that really mean? I mean, it could also be a sine wave and not a total collapse.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah,
I think we got two kind of bum systems out of this generation. I don't think the Wii U is everything it could be, and I don't think the Xbox One was because they tried to do Kinect with it. I now think the Xbox One is on par with PS4 now that they've dropped the Kinect support and they've tried to bring it up to speed. But like those launches for Wii U and Xbox One were pretty lame. But if you make changes and correct course, like the next generation could be really good.
I mean, before this generation, 3 years ago when it was sort of still coming, 3 or 4 years ago when people are hearing whispers and rumors about the next Xbox and PS4, the conventional wisdom from everyone was that the console business was going to be in decline.
Yep.
Mobile was taking over, PC gaming was surging, and consoles, it was the exact same thing. They're still going to be around, but they're just not going to be as big. And then, the PS4 has outsold the PS3 every single month, and the Xbox One is doing better than the 360.
That's so crazy.
That conventional wisdom has been proven super incorrect. So, I mean, I don't know. Who the heck knows?
And it was also like the first year and a half, 2 years of any console launch is sort of like a relatively unimpressive lineup.
Yep.
Whereas now, like this year has been incredible the first half of the year, and the next month and a half of games looks awesome.
And it also it really depends on where a generation is going to end up in the end in terms of how many hundreds of millions of consoles are sold. Really depends on how many consoles are sold at like $99 and $150. Like the tail end of a console, like hardcore gamers are already kind of thinking about the next thing, but that console's still alive and making money for a lot of people, and that's when. Quietly, like the 360 and PS3 continued to sell millions and millions of units for years afterwards. And like those rack up to a really big number. And like it's hard to predict how long the generation's going to last or how much life the PS3 will have in it, in 2020. Like,
you mean PS4?
Yes.
Look at us, we're like four little Michael Pactors over here.
Look at how easy it is. I can be an analyst.
Packing it in with the Pactor squad.
This is a quote from Michael Pachter in 2009. I think we've seen the last generation of consoles. Third-party publishers are not going to support a PS4 or Xbox 720. That's a quote from him in 2009.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, let's call it the Xbox One, stupid.
You remember the Xbox 720 ads in Real Steel?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Remember Real Steel?
Do you remember the Revolution mock-up that was like a big piece of plastic
Yeah.
that went on someone's face?
Totally remember that.
Now we're
I'll fake.
Gotta buy one. Yeah.
So Factor is just flat out wrong. That's
true.
Sometimes, like he says, things are they're so wrong. Like
Well,
he couldn't have been more wrong.
Analysts have to be wrong, but they also have to have an educated reason to explain why they're making
It's
predictions.
ostensibly being a
that's the job.
weatherman.
It's also worth pointing out that him making these predictions is just raising his personal profile, and he had a show for a little while, but that's not like his actual day-to-day job, or was. I don't know if it still is, but he made his name being an analyst for, I think, Morgan Stanley, where his job was to price stocks. Say, here's what I think Take-Two stock is going to be worth in 6 months or 12 months, and that's completely unrelated to his track record of just making silly predictions about the console business. And his actual function as an analyst was to say whether you should buy, sell, or hold EA, Activision, Take-Two, Majesco, like all those companies. And that's really when Pachter's, before he had this public profile, that's what he was spending his time doing.
And we know any financial analyst that's publicly speaking about money, stocks, stuff like that, they're always wrong as well. And it's very dangerous.
What about Mr. Mad Money? That guy likes to yell a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Jimmy
really
Cramer.
he really screwed up ahead of the financial market crash. Telling a bunch of people to buy.
But the one when he said when he was mentioning the DS compared to the 3DS, I mean that is an obvious because mobile is so big now. Like mobile, the phones people had, was 7 years ago, and when the DS was selling that well, weren't nearly as powerful or interesting or robust as the things we all have in our pocket, especially in Japan.
Yep. I see on the bus every day, I see people that I wouldn't peg as a gamer, just middle-aged people playing games on their phone.
So, yeah.
And some of them used to play games on it. I used to see
Brain
people
Age
playing
or-
Brain
yeah.
Age and stuff like that, and they just don't anymore.
So that's a really good point. He actually has some interesting theories about AAA console games. Basically, his idea is that AAA console games would be enjoyed by millions of more people if they weren't locked behind a console paywall. Basically, if you want to play Uncharted 4, you have to first buy a $400 console and then buy a $60 game. His theory is that millions more people would play Uncharted 4 if they just had to buy the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be an eventuality with mobile handsets. I mean, there's no reason your mobile handset can't drive your TV with amazing graphics in 10 years. Like, that's just, why would you ever have a dedicated console?
Or a set-top box, like an Apple TV or an Amazon Fire. They're becoming more and more sophisticated, more and more powerful every year.
Everyone, that's exactly right. Everyone needs to have some kind of device to play Netflix in their house, or most households in America. And I kind of take it for granted because I have every console and I have 11 devices that can play Netflix. But if you're my mom and you don't have any game consoles, you're shopping around for, okay, what do I buy to do I get a Roku? Do I get an Apple TV? Just something that can let me stream.
Or a TV with that stuff.
Yeah, or a smart TV. And there are smart TVs that actually have games built into them. They're usually mobile ports because they're usually some of them are running Android. But if that's exactly what will happen, is someone will have a device for something else, but then it can also play some AAA
then
games.
Then it's when it's powerful enough to play Call of Duty, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto. That's when Pactor believes the traditional console cycle is.
That's what I hope the new Apple TV would have been.
Yeah, I mean,
it can play Crossy Road.
It can play Crossy Road.
The only thing that matters. Sony, it seems to have of any of the three major console manufacturers, seems to have the foresight with this, with Sony or with PlayStation Now. I mean, sort of their grand plan was that if you own a Sony TV or even a Sony Blu-ray player, that you would be able to stream PS3 and eventually PS4 games. But that never. PS Now kind of seems like a dud.
But the whole idea behind consoles is to sell software. So really, the business model of Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony of building up their studios to produce games means that they will be prepared for their hardware not to matter and might even benefit from it. I mean, that's a long way down the road. But if they can still sell a $60 Uncharted, it's probably better that they're not taking a loss on 34 million consoles that they're selling, because that's what they're doing.
I'm sort of thinking of the idea, though, if you have a cable box, and if this is 5-10 years from now, and during a Monday Night Football game, there's an ad for the new Call of Duty game, if literally at the end of it, you can hit a button, and it just downloads, and you're just playing it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that these two sides of the hardware business are coming at it from opposite directions, because consoles are becoming they are set-top boxes. You can stream whatever you want on it and download all these apps and non-gaming uses, and the Xbox One is actually a really good DVR. And the set-top boxes are becoming more and more and more powerful with more, encroaching into the gaming space. They're going to meet in the middle at some point.
And fall in love. Make a baby. Baby,
good movie.
Justin.
Anyway, some food for thought from industry analyst
Chew on it.
Michael Pachter.
You got
Swallow
packed.
it.
Swallow the whole thing.
That's going to be my new sign-off.
Swallow it.
Marty Sleva, swallow it. Get out of here.
Moving on, Hitman has been delayed. The new Hitman game, just called Hitman, was supposed to be early December. Now it's going to be March 2016. Going up against The Division and Uncharted 4.
I keep laughing at all
It's
these.
quite a spring.
It's real sad.
He's sad.
It's real sad.
He's going to miss Christmas. Is that a smart move? Moving out of December into...
Yeah.
I mean, it's a smart move for me and the fall coverage schedule we have because I'd rather cover stuff in spring than in fall.
Yeah, I mean, December is sort of not necessarily dead in the water, but that's sort of like you're a little late to the party.
Just Cause is out in December.
Yeah, Just
and Rainbow
Cause
Six.
and
And,
Rainbow
Rainbow
Six now,
Six,
which
yeah.
seems really late.
It's a big December.
It is a big December.
Plus, we have a conference now, or not a conference, but
PSX?
a PSX
Yeah,
event
yeah.
and the game awards. There's just a lot that happens in December
Yeah.
suddenly.
Yeah.
I don't get a break anymore.
I would normally say, absolutely, yeah, it's a smart move. Move into Q1 where it's quieter, but Q1's not quiet at all. Like, it's just as
Yeah.
crowded, if not more crowded, as December. So, I don't know.
We need summer games. Everybody wants to
You
do
need
their
summer
winter
games.
Hey, we had
games and their
Batman.
spring
Yeah,
games.
Batman.
Witcher was a big summer, and The Witcher. Those are both summer
I
games.
love that, though. I just think that feels really good. To have
Yeah,
a
I mean,
game
the
play all
reason
summer.
behind this delay, though, is Hitman was a weird thing at E3 when we were covering it because it was that you're going to pay $60 up front,
Is that game one level?
and you're going to get a small amount
Basically
of the
get
game,
An area, yeah.
and then
Really?
they're going to continually
Yeah.
build and release things to you, and you get it for free because you've already paid the $60.
Yes.
But it's like a weird episodic model. It'd be like if Telltale charged you up front $60. Well, I guess you buy
mean,
a season pass.
Totally do
Yeah.
that.
We've been talking about whether this delay
It is weird.
Yeah.
We've been talking about whether this delay is smart or not in the context of what else is coming out around it. But hopefully they delayed the game just because they need the time. You know?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
in
Yeah,
that sense,
I mean, that's the reason that
in
this
that
is.
sense, it's always smart,
The
right?
reason was that they wanted to launch with more content.
yeah.
Because if they launch in December and literally 3 hours into it, you were like, all right, well, I'm done with these 2 missions. What do I do
Oh,
now?
man, reviewing that's going to be a nightmare.
Yep.
Reviewing that's going to be terrible. No discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only one
Marty's on.
area at
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they said that area is like 6 times as big as the biggest level
Sure.
in their last game.
And so now
But
maybe
that
there's going to
game's
be more.
not about big levels, right? It's about
Blood Money
setups.
was.
Yeah, but the big level's nice because then it's the sandboxing nature of like if you get one thing from over here, you can come back over here and do something neat.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think, a
It'd
delay.
be cool if they went full Metal Gear with something like that.
Well,
mean,
it's not that big, but yeah.
And also, like, I don't know if this was the actual reasoning, but it seems smart to get out of the long shadow of Phantom Pain. When people think of stealth in 2015, they're going to think of Phantom Pain, and when Game of the Year awards comes up, that's going to be nominated and winning a bunch of things. So I think
Talk about that
distancing
in a
yourself with a couple extra months is not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah, the release model is very strange. I think the problem is that they haven't showcased why that release model is a good model for the gamers.
Yeah.
That's why people aren't really like.
I always think, and this is a little silly, but like I always don't want to play a game like Hitman around the holidays, Hanukkah. I don't want to play. It's just like
You don't want to kill people?
Yeah, like the super
Like
violent.
Mario.
Now, first-person shooters like Halo, like sci-fi, like I can go that far. I like those a lot, but I like open worlds in Mario and stuff like that around then. Like I don't know, it's just a good feel, and like Hitman's like really on the violent end of
pretty grim.
and nihilistic.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't know you had that sentimental side.
Well, it's just around the holidays.
I like the holidays. I'm a big fan.
But I
big
think
fan.
Just Cause, is a good mixture of that. Like it's a big, jungly, beautiful open world. I know it is.
just-
And it's kind of silly.
But
But it's not about
over the top.
specifically
It's silly
a
murder.
guy
You're not
with
killing
a
people with
shaved
your
head.
bare hands,
Bare
choking
hands.
them out.
Yeah, with a garrote.
You might actually get bare hands, though.
You might actually
People
get
with
bare
those.
Bare hands
Bare
DLC?
hands, yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you hear about the bare hands?
I'm just making a silly joke.
Okay. It's like Michael Pachter.
Sounds like. Do we have that in our wiki?
Yeah.
Totally.
Anyway, I'm a Hitman fan. I have high hopes that the game will turn out well.
Same.
Tomb Raider's still
But I don't know. like I said, March is also Uncharted 4 and The Division. And The Division seems like that's going to be a really big game.
And I mean, just like, and April's...
Also kind of a persistent world game.
Yeah, and April's going to have Dark Souls and Quantum Break, and we're going to get Mirror's Edge before that, and it's just like...
Star Fox now.
Star Fox.
It is. I do think all that's a side effect of game development being much more expensive and challenging than it's ever been. All those games would have come out and probably should have come out in the fall, and now they're all in
Imagine
the
how
spring.
awful if all those games were all still in the fall with Assassin's Creed and Fallout and Tomb Raider.
That's what it
and
used to be
Halo
like.
and-
Well,
that'll
we had a
be-
year like that 2 years ago, I think, too. I mean, it just happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
That's when you just
sometimes
cry.
everything does come out. Sometimes it doesn't.
Tidbits from old Sam.
Gotta have an anal plan.
You just
That's a joke because our neighbor here is called Anaplan.
Thank you for explaining it, because I'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah, the downstairs neighbor is in the IGN office building. Anaplan.
Anaplan.
It's hard to read the word.
Yeah, when you see it, to some of us, it looks like something else.
Should we get us out of here?
punch it.
Bunch of Chewy.
You were talking about Metal Gear Solid 5,
Yeah.
Phantom Pain.
Yep.
That game is so good.
That game's real good. Yeah.
So
I started it 2 days
ridiculously,
ago and I played it for like 6 hours and it's great.
It's
Yeah.
so good, right?
Yeah.
My dog is all grown up. He's going on missions with me
My
now.
dog's just a puppy, but I tried to get in the helicopter and it was so
Yeah.
cute. Or she, I don't know if it's a
Yeah, I'm not sure.
girl. I never turned it over.
Justin showed me a cool video of Snake just punching donkeys.
Yeah. The name of the YouTube video in all caps was just a new breed of stealth, and it's just Snake sprinting and then knocking donkeys out.
I played The Witcher like so much up until Sunday, and
Yeah.
in that game you press a different button to get on your
Oh
horse.
my god, it's the worst, right?
If you press that very same button in the Phantom Pain, you tackle your horse.
and you do a crazy leap. Like, it's not even a normal leap. Like, you do a crazy leap. It's funny because I went straight from Witcher to Metal
Yeah,
Gear, and I
so
did
funny.
the exact same thing.
Bam! I noticed last night too. You can park your horse. You can stop your horse in a street to like stop a car.
Yeah.
And it's really useful because you can then trank people in the car.
Yep.
I was doing that yesterday, and the car just stopped for a second and then just ran over my horse. And the horse just knocked out for a little bit.
Sorry, D-Horse.
Yeah, I had to like walk away, then call my horse over to revive it.
I just realized the other day that when your helicopter picks you up,
Oh, yeah.
your horse gets folded away.
Yeah, you don't leave
Oh,
him
just
behind.
automatically. Just-
I've heard it go up, and
Yeah.
I knew that happened, but I still haven't seen it happen.
I like that he's got an automatic Fulton on his back, and he's just like,
the game is so
D-horse.
What a
crazy.
miserable existence that D-Horse has.
Yeah.
So you just stop using D-Horse at one point, right? Because you have to bring in a
mean-
different buddy.
But it's like,
Yeah.
I'm so torn because no one wants to move around that world on foot.
Yeah, sometimes you get
So
like
annoying.
dropped off so far from your destination.
But then you also want to have someone cool and fun around, like
Yeah.
D-Dog or Quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
Maybe D-Horse will get a sniper rifle in a future update.
Maybe.
Horse stealth.
Have you upgraded your dog to have knives?
Oh, the knife thing is so cool.
The dog knife, so he can go around and
He'll-
knife people.
Yeah,
for you.
He'll get the knife out of his shoulder with like his teeth, and then he'll slit a dude's throat.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm like, isn't your mouth full of like hundreds of knives?
That is so great.
D-Dog.
Yeah.
D-Dog's a
No,
real
he puts it
good.
back. He probably slits it through it, then puts it back.
D-Dog's a
to
real
his
good boy.
shoulder.
That's
He's a good
so
boy.
good.
D-Dog.
He's a good dog.
D-Dog is a good dog.
I mean, sorry to spoil this for you, but I think your dog seems fine when he's a puppy, but when he's grown up, he has an eye patch.
Yeah, he loses an eye.
And
He's
it's like-
missing his eye.
He's missing
As
his
a
eye when he's a
puppy?
puppy.
I noticed
okay, I
that.
didn't notice
I
that.
thought the same
That's
thing.
why I don't remember the exact line of dialogue, but Kaz says something like, "Oh, he's perfect," or like something like that, because he's just like
okay.
Big Boss.
Yeah, it's kind of sad when you first pick him up. He's all scratched out. But at one point, my favorite point in the game, I think it will be even after I beat it, is Snake picks up the dog. He's like, "So, puppy, will it get bigger?" And Kaz is like, "Yeah, it'll get really big."
I know you just like saw a real cool like flaming whale and everything, and that man on fire, but yeah, that's just a dog. It gets bigger.
So here's how a puppy works.
Aren't you guys glad they got
You need an
Kiefer
R&D
Sutherland
upgrade
to record
make
those
your
5
puppy.
lines of dialogue?
It is very few lines of dialogue.
No, there's actually
silent.
Good dog.
He's
Is there more
got
later?
so much dialogue in the tapes.
Whoa.
Weird,
Okay, so
okay.
he just reads the script.
Well, people consider, so you pick up these tapes that give you background on the game
Yeah,
world and
I
all
mean,
this
listen
stuff,
to 'em.
and people think about it as tapes, like like in other video games. It's like, these tapes, these audio logs that you can listen to or not listen to, but they replace codec conversations. Like there's
Oh, I
these.
bet they're really silly then too.
There are
because
these
they're written out
long
and not meant
taped
to be
conversations that normally would interrupt the gameplay and have these long codec segments, but now you can just play them when you're walking around Mother Base.
I'm so used to games now
He's
having.
still not in it very much, but more than people
Yeah.
might think.
Yeah, like The Witcher or Uncharted have people in the room like interacting and doing like a performed scene, and this game so obviously doesn't have that. That's part of kind of, I guess, what people tell me the charm of Metal Gear. But Kiefer Sutherland almost certainly literally phoned it in and like called, they probably recorded it remotely and then just patched it in because he says really silly stuff and it just doesn't. There's never conversations.
I know
it's always a person says something and there's a pause. And
I agree with that. It's pretty clear that they're not in the room together recording their lines.
Yeah.
I know that companies do that. I had a friend that worked at Leapfrog, the children's e-book whatever company, and they were doing a toys game, and they had to get Owen Wilson to do dialogue for it, but he called from his condo in Hawaii, and they were just recorded it over the phone.
Well, do you remember
All the dialogue that goes in the game.
who was it that said they weren't going to do The Simpsons?
Shearer?
I think was it Harry Shearer?
Harry Shearer, yeah.
Yeah, Harry Shearer. When he said that, the producer said, he's like Harry said, I don't know. He was like basically he's totally allowed to just call in from wherever he wants. Like we can totally have him phone in his dialogue. He just said that's totally fine.
You probably just have to find, you probably can't literally just do it on your phone, but find a recording studio in whatever city you're in and rent out that space for the afternoon. Then you don't need to fly back to LA or wherever.
Nice internet connection. I think you could do it somehow.
Anyway, Phantom Pain is amazing. So won't it be kind of strange if Game of the Year awards go to this company that's like, we're totally done with AAA.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah.
We keep hearing new reports claim that Konami has halted all AAA game production with the exception of FIFA. No,
Yes.
PES, sorry. They do the
opposite,
PES one,
the other one.
The PES, They're a PES dispenser.
Yeah.
And Konami, has a bunch of other businesses that they're in, like fitness clubs and
Arcades
gambling
and-
machines.
They have real estate businesses. Yeah, but wouldn't that be weird?
It would be totally weird, especially because they bought Hudson, so Bomberman would be eaten up with them.
That's literally. Bomberman's the thing you're worried about?
No, I'm worried about Castlevania and Metal Gear.
And Silent Hill.
Frogger a little bit.
Yeah, Frogger's a little sad.
No, it's crazy. But Atari got equally destroyed and then eaten up and then spit out and everything, and you can still play Atari franchise games. There's even an Asteroids game.
I mean, that's the thing. They just got to sell. As long as they auction, sell Castlevania to Capcom.
Yeah, do the THQ.
Right?
Just sell the brands, yeah.
Don't sell it to Capcom.
Whoever,
to FromSoft.
Sell Castlevania to FromSoft. Sell Bomberman to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Sell Silent Hill.
man.
Sell Silent Hill to Capcom. That'd be all right.
Bonk is also a Hudson property.
Yeah.
So
What are we gonna do about Air Zonk, guys?
Song.
What song?
That's the Space Bonk.
Space Bonk.
No.
He flies in a spaceship.
Is this a hazing thing?
Is
This
it a
my first
spaceship though,
show?
or is he not flying in atmosphere on his planet? Is he really flying in space?
He's the TurboGrafx kid.
There's space
I was
Bonk?
a
No, Ryan
TurboGrafx
McCaffrey's the TurboGrafx.
Oh, that's
kid.
right. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I played.
Still weirded
Air
out by
Zonk.
Space
Yes,
Bonk.
Zonk. Air Zonk.
You remember Chuck Rock?
Yeah.
I remember Chuck Rock, yeah.
What
That
about
was
Digger
a
T-Rock?
Genesis.
That's another game
We
too.
did top 10 Caveman Games.
Caveman Games would be number one.
If,
Actual game.
that is it's true.
And Trog.
If this is true about Konami, I wonder if the
I can keep going.
success of Metal Gear would make anyone rethink that. Be like, maybe there is something here.
I mean, it's gonna be tough
Yeah.
for Metal Gear is gonna sell a ton, but it's gonna be tough, I think, to recoup its budget. I mean, if this game's been in development for
That's the thing,
that many years,
Metal Gear Solid 5 is a
Keep
very,
it
very
alone,
big,
alone.
very successful game, but Metal Gear is never, it's not a 10, 15 million selling franchise. Its weight that gamers put on it isn't equal to the weight that it actually sells in terms of millions and millions of units. Sort of Uncharted's like that too. Those games don't sell 10 million copies either each.
but it's
Did you
sort
guys
of
know that
prestige.
Konami started as a jukebox repair company?
I did not.
They can just go back to that.
Jukebox repair.
In Toyonaka, Japan.
They're jukebox heroes.
Yes, exactly. I've repaired a jukebox before, so I feel like I could get to Metal Gear.
You're one of the few people I know who pronounces jukebox correctly.
What do you hear?
Most people say
Jukebox?
Jukebox.
No one says that.
Yeah, in Wisconsin,
Whoa,
everyone would say jukebox. Jukebox.
What?
I've
Very
never
few
heard
people would
anybody
ever
say that.
pronounce the K. Yeah.
I have never heard that in my life.
It wouldn't be it's not
Jukebox.
jute.
Maybe they just say it
They
fast. Jukebox.
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 As a jukebox?
Juke.
I mean, if there's no,
I
if
mean,
you don't
that's
pronounce
sort
the
of
K,
there's no, a jukebox.
Have you ever heard of a juke joint?
Jukebox.
No, it's a juke joint.
It's like a bar that has a jukebox
Oh.
if you're in 1920.
like in a speak?
You could speak easy. Yeah.
One quick news bit this week: Dragon Age Inquisition is getting a Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
And actually, I never got around to playing that. So.
You might not need to go back to that if you have Metal Gear and The Witcher 3 to play still.
And I never finished Batman: Arkham Knight.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
And there are more games. Fallout 4 is coming out. And
Just give up.
an RPG I really, really, really want to play in October is Divinity: Original Sin Enhanced Edition.
Yep.
On
On
consoles.
consoles.
Did you and you played the original Sin? Okay.
No, but they're
Everybody really liked
bringing it to
Original
consoles,
Sin.
and they have this amazing local cooperative mode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's really
that
fun.
looked really cool.
Yeah, it's tough when at a certain point, it's like, well, it's been too long. Like, I don't know if I can go back. There's too much going forward.
It was our game of the year last year, and I just never got around
That's
to
why
playing
they're
it.
giving
I
Game of the Year
absolutely
edition,
liked my 180 hours with Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
But I was, and Justin and I, we played it a whole lot, and I ignored the story entirely, and Justin liked the story.
Yeah,
so
I
there's two
like the
different reasons to
characters
play.
more than the actual arc of the story.
Oh yeah, the character arcs were
Really well written and interesting characters, and they actually play off each other in neat ways. To me, that's the highlight of the game. I love Dragon Age. I did vote for it for Game of the Year in addition to the winning IGN's Game of the Year, but I never played any of the DLC.
You know what I realized in hindsight is I think finding out that there's basically an exploit that makes you very able to beat things above your level kind of made me stop playing.
Oh, I don't even remember.
I used it for a long time. Vivian can do an attack.
Oh yeah, I never did that build. Her crazy battle mage build.
Yeah, if you do that, then you can really take out anything. And for some reason, I really liked it, but then I just did everything I wanted to do very easily, and now there's no more challenge in it.
Well, the Game of the Year edition includes all of the downloadable content.
Yeah.
I just wish maybe they had found a quieter time to release that rather than right in the middle of the busiest.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
season.
There's going to be a lot of people who finally dip into the next-gen console market this fall, for Christmas. So a lot of people get PS1 or PS4s, and some people get PS1s. The bad kids. I don't know, that wouldn't be a bad gift. I like PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play Zonk.
No, you can't.
No.
You could play Metal Gear Solid the way it was intended, which I'd like to play. I've never played it on the PS1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
That was the
We
first
should hook that up in
PS1.
one of the old CRTs here.
I got a PS1 with Metal Gear Solid. I did that thing that we talked about, I think, on GameScoop last year when I got my PS1. And I got Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, Tekken 3, just 5 of the best PS1 games, and it was the best gaming period of my life.
Really?
That was a nice advantage of waiting a few years for PS1 because early adopters, there was not much to play.
It's the same with every console. I think getting...
Not Super Nintendo.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
we talked about this recently, but getting a console near the end of its life that you missed out on,
the
you just
best.
have
So
Yeah.
good.
It is great.
an incredible library of games.
Yeah.
I think I got my PS2 right when San Andreas came out, and that was the same thing. I was
that's
like,
cool.
oh my gosh, I can play so much stuff now.
That's actually how. Do we need to move on?
Well, you can say. You can finish this off.
Well, you looked like you were inhaling.
I was about to, but
He was like, shut up, Justin.
Shut up, shut your mouth.
swallow it.
I was gonna say that's how I feel about mobile games. Actually, there's so much trash on that platform. But if someone has been ignoring mobile because they think it's all garbage,
I can
there
imagine.
are
A lot of great
probably
games,
40 to 50 really good 3DS or PSP Vita quality games on that platform now.
Yeah. All right, let's check in with the listeners.
Yay!
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Emily in Oakland did.
Hi, Emily.
Hey.
She says, thanks for always delivering a great show. You guys have inspired my best friend and I to start our very own podcast.
Oh,
Anyways, my question for you guys is,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
if you were to get a tattoo that is video game themed or of a video game character, what would it be?
Are we going to get a link for the podcast?
A link? Oh, she didn't say.
A link to the
She
podcast.
just said a link to the podcast.
A link to the
would be a
podcast.
great name for a Zelda podcast.
Take it. Now she can have that. All right, let's just get that.
link to You already said it out loud.
It's really good.
You can have that.
She says, I have a tattoo of a wolf howling, but it's the wolf form of Link from Twilight Princess.
Oh.
pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Does it have the moon
I don't know.
and
Yeah.
paint,
I mean, it's probably,
like the t-shirts?
yeah,
Really great.
the 3 wolf
The-
moons
the
that they
wolf
call
moons.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us have any tattoos, do we?
I don't.
No.
No, I don't either. I know people with some good game tattoos. I know a guy that has a big neck tattoo of the Kubert cubes.
No way.
No.
Yeah. He
That's
runs all the
crazy.
games at Brewcade.
Wow.
His name is Sean. He's a nice guy.
Does he have an air zonk? I have an air zonk tramp stand. I'm gonna get one after this.
I was at our local arcade Free Gold Watch the other day, and there's a guy with a big centipede sleeve, and it was really cool.
really
The
cool.
side art has
Yeah.
the centipedes
That's
on
really
it.
cool.
I've never thought about it. I don't have any tattoos. I'm not against them. I just never found
get it.
something that I mean, I don't know. I guess I say I'm not against them, but Super Metroid's my favorite game. It's been my favorite game consistently. I strongly believe that I will continue to love it in decades, which I feel is the test of getting a tattoo. I want this when I'm 50.
It's really the
But I
test
just-
is how drunk are you?
Yeah, but it's that's the thing. I just don't.
How close is the tattoo?
I don't feel the compulsion. It's not a knock against anybody that does, want to, get a tattoo. But I don't feel the need to be I love this thing, so I
You don't want to get the entire
So what-
map of
what would it
Zebus
be?
on your back?
Yeah, that would that hexagonal one.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What would it be?
Yeah, if you
I-
got a
if
Super
it- if it's
Metroid
called.
themed tattoo, what
Would it be the baby?
Yeah, I would need to
Maybe.
think about it.
Yeah, the Metroid itself.
It would probably be the Metroid itself, or it would definitely be a pixel art like tattoo. That's
be
what it
cool.
would be. It wouldn't be like artwork or a design or anything like that.
Pixel art of the Metroid?
I would do the actual pixel art of something from the game. Probably not even the Metroid. I would probably pick something a little bit more obscure than that, like maybe the energy tank.
The statues
or
that hold the
the Chozo
objects.
statues?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the
those are
Chozo
cool.
statue
Yeah,
would
those
be
would be cool.
cool. Or like maybe just like the icon of like one of the power ups that the Chozo holds. Like I might get something
yeah.
like that.
I got mine.
Burger Time.
I got a new one. I would make my whole arm the arm cannon for Mega Man. Like blue all the way, full blue sleeve, and then like yellow and yellow, right?
Yeah.
And then your hand, it just has to be like your hand, I guess, at that point. No, it has to be blue too.
I'm waiting for the day Colin gets that tattoo.
And maybe the front of your hand could have like a black circle on it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. All right, Marty.
I don't know, I'm trying to think of like, but wait, I don't know.
Would you get a Dark Souls tattoo?
Maybe a Dark Souls tattoo? Like a little
Would you get a banjo?
bonfire? Oh my god. Yeah, I think I'd get banjo.
Like
or,
banjo
or
and-
I'd get a backpack tattoo
Yes.
on my back. Kazooie coming up here.
That's really good.
That would look amazing.
Yeah. Maybe
Or you
something
could, if you wanted to be really badass, you could use it could be a skull, but it would be a mumbo jumbo.
Ikom.
We're broke.
A burger
Dream
time.
tattoo.
A burger time one would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like a big stack of the burger. Like
Oh,
in
that
here,
would
like,
be neat
actually
because
pretty
it has
cool.
the stack and they get taller and taller,
Yeah.
so you'd have like the full burger stack.
Yeah. One
Like
that's
I
like
showed you
that
this
tall.
game called Short Order, which is another burger themed game on the NES. But you use the power pad and you build these tall burgers. But the graphic is of a really tall hamburger made out of digital pixels, and it just looks really neat.
Nice.
Top 10 burger games.
All right, when are we going?
Right after this.
My ink is going to cost a lot more than yours.
Emily also has our 20 questions suggestion this week, and I just realized it was laying on my lap. Did you see it?
No.
Okay. All right.
We're looking
Emily
at his lap, though.
What is it?
has provided our game for video game 20 questions.
Is this?
Oh, yeah. No, that's not it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say Bioshock.
Is that our first question? Marty?
It is not Bioshock. I'll give you that.
It was Bioshock a lot,
supposed to be
a
a
few
question.
episodes ago. You've
Yeah.
never been on the show, so you wouldn't know.
Oh,
That was a really hard one.
Which one?
The Bioshock,
Bioshock
one. I
one,
watched
yeah.
Because he
that
said it
episode.
wasn't sci-fi.
That made it really hard.
ooh.
What about was Dragon Lair set on Earth? You're like, it's a Earth.
So obviously not Earth.
All right, so you're prepared this time then to get your questions right.
My questions?
Yeah.
What are my questions?
Well,
You're playing.
No, but you have to know the answer to the yes or no question.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I did some research on this.
All right.
All right.
What frame rate does it run at?
That's a yes or no question. How many graphics does it have? Was this game after January 1st, 2000?
Not originally.
Not originally
All right.
after.
Is this game primarily known for being on a Nintendo platform?
No.
Does this game have a remake?
Yes.
See, that makes it really easy. That was a clue in the first one.
Yeah, it's Resident Evil 1. We did it. Yay! Was this game known for being on a PlayStation platform?
Might be
I
Resident
would
Evil.
say yes.
Okay.
It's not a PlayStation exclusive though.
Okay.
Should I ask if it's a spooky game?
Sure, you can ask.
Is this a spooky game?
No.
F. Dame is not afraid of anything.
It's not spooky. It's clearly Excitebike.
We got sidetracked and didn't narrow down platforms.
No, we didn't.
Or years.
Oh, we're generation.
No, we did. It has
Before
a
2000.
remake after 2000, but it existed before 2000.
Yeah, but we don't know
Yeah.
how far before. 80s,
Yeah,
90s?
but we know it's not primarily known for a Nintendo platform.
So
What was your answer to the Sony one?
It
It sounds like it's on a Sony
If it
platform.
had to be
but it's not.
associated with some platform, it would probably be PlayStation.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So that means it came out after 1994. So it's between
I mean, it
1994
could
and 2000.
be.
that is, yeah.
It could be Metal Gear Solid. 'Cause that had Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Is this game sci-fi themed?
No. And I'm confident about it.
Is Metal Gear sci-fi?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Is this game rated M for mature?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you play as a human?
Yes.
Doesn't help.
Well,
No, it does.
it's not Crash Bandicoots.
Yeah.
Well, he wears pants.
Just, you can put a
Still not human.
Max put a shirt on his dog. His dog's still a dog.
Porky Pig doesn't wear pants, and he's a pig.
That is Donald Duck.
Is this game third person?
Yes.
Is this? Should we think about genre? Is the developer still in
we already did.
business?
It's not sci-fi.
Is the developer still in business?
Still making games today.
I am not
Ooh,
sure.
okay, this
Want
is
to
good.
consult the?
Okay. Well, no. Let's just say
Okay,
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not going to count that question.
8Ball's confused.
Does it have a multiplayer mode?
Ooh, that's a good
Yes. That's question number 10.
question. That's a good question.
I feel like maybe the developer is still in business.
I kind of want to know, like, if
So it's a remake with a multiplayer mode, but the original is it like Siphon Filter or something?
Yeah, but that's clearly associated with PlayStation, though. He wouldn't have.
yeah.
Is it? Is that the first
Yeah,
party game?
yeah.
Are they still making games in this series?
Well, he said that he doesn't even know if the developer's still in business.
Yeah, but okay, that's true.
Multiplayer game, PlayStation era,
Is it
with a remake.
Is it a sequel? Is it the original?
Games
You're
within the
human in
same series or franchise can have multiple developers.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like Twisted Metal. Well, that's also another PlayStation associated one.
Do you use guns? Is that something
No.
you do a lot in this game? You don't use guns?
Not a gun game.
But it's got multiplayer. Most multiplayer games are gun games
Gun games?
or racing games. But
Jar Jar Binks
you
was a
don't
gun game.
the gun games from the planet Naboo.
So it could, by all this definition, be a racing game or
You're
a
right,
sports game.
Sports game.
It could be Madden.
So it didn't get remade. You play as a human in Madden, I would say. You're the coach. You're somebody. I don't know who you are.
God.
But the company's still around.
To clarify, you never asked. Oh yeah, we did ask if there was a remake. Yeah, there is.
I haven't been asking a lot of questions. I'm
Is the game?
ponder?
Is the game?
It's not sci-fi.
Was the game the first in a series?
This game was, yes.
And it got remade. And it's primarily
Is the
associated
game
with
set
PlayStation.
in a
Did we ask if it was spooky?
in reality or fantasy?
It's-
Sorry. Is it a fantasy-based game?
No.
So it's set in reality. So that means
Hold on, we got pretty good hints here. That we
Yeah.
You
so
don't know the genre of this game. It's third person.
it's not sci-fi and it's not
third
fantasy.
person,
sci-fi, not
sort of
fantasy.
halfway associated with Sony.
You're not using guns.
you
Play as a human.
Play as a human.
We don't
got,
think-
got remade. Had multiplayer.
The we don't know if the developer is still hanging out.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like there's how many games that started franchises that got remade that meet these other criteria could there possibly be?
I mean, it's not Metal Gear. It's not Resident Evil.
Disgaea,
That wasn't a PS1 game. That was a PS2. game.
PS2.
And they're still making that game.
I want to get the genre down. I want to know.
Sure.
But it's got multiplayer. I was going to ask RPG, but RPGs don't have multiplayer. Generally. Oh, see? Up.
You can ask that.
Yeah, narrow it. You can narrow it down.
Is this an
genre.
RPG?
No. I can't even think of a non-fantasy or sci-fi
Yeah,
RPG.
Oh yeah, and it's based mostly
Yeah,
in
that was dumb.
reality. But it's not a shooter. Do you use swords or slice things in this game?
No. That's 15.
That was a bad question. Sorry,
we're gonna
I
lose
let us
this
down.
one.
So I bet you punch things.
Yeah, I should have asked if there's like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't even know what genre this game. Like this could
We're
be like
trying.
Mario Party or something.
We're trying.
Mario Party associated with the PlayStation.
Fighting game.
Yeah, this could be like Tekken. No,
Do fighting games get remade? And I wouldn't say Sony. That's like arcade.
I would love to know where the remake appeared.
Soul Calibur. What are like
No, you slice things in that game.
swords? Yeah.
Let's get some more questions going.
We gotta get some more questions. You play as a human?
Yes, that's not.
Yeah, you do play as a human.
Well,
Is this game known for having a good story?
No.
Is it a sports game?
Technically, yes, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. Technically, sports game.
Go
So
with
it's a
it.
funny sports game.
Where's your mind taking you?
I mean, it's taking me to fake sports.
yeah, I'm going to all those cyberball
Mind
sports games
kickball?
that they made in the '90s.
But for PlayStation, like I'm thinking of like weird things like Mega Man Soccer, but that's not a weird sports game. That's
It's not fantasy or sci-fi.
there's no reason it has to be weird. It could be a normal sports game.
Could it be Tony Hawk?
Yeah, it totally could be.
Do you play as
A skateboard man?
a skateboardman?
Yes.
Yay!
Tony Hawk?
It is Tony Hawk.
Hawk.
Tony Hawk's Pro
Yes!
Skater, yes.
Woo-hoo!
Released in 1999 on
barely
PlayStation
made
1.
Yeah.
But then the other versions came in the year 2000.
That's
So
right.
it, like straddled
Yeah, yeah.
that line.
99.
Well, and also there's a remake coming out now.
Well, that's Tony Hawk
sequel.
5.
Tony Hawk
Yeah.
5.
But there was a remake.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there was
right.
a remake.
There was a remake. Now it's
XBLA.
the same
5.
company that's doing 5.
But developer was Neversoft. Are they still around?
yeah.
Yeah, but they do like Call of Duty maps.
Now
I
they're doing
think.
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Okay.
they did because they did
Right.
Guitar Hero for a while. They sort of
Yeah.
do what Activision assigns them.
But that might not have helped us, so you're off the hook on that.
Yeah, they're a weird studio.
Yeah, it's fine.
That was good.
Yeah?
Good one. That's
great.
You guys got there.
I'm crying.
Good suggestion, Emily in Oakland.
Thanks, Emily.
He's got a.
I would argue that's a sci-fi game.
Would you?
You can play as Darth Maul.
Yeah, I think
With those
well,
physics,
It's not on Earth, clearly.
it's a science joke. What can I do?
All right, that's all the scoops to have for this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Marty. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.